up? It's Kazumi. As you guys know, I am an LA native, and one of my favorite things to do on a nice Sunday with amazing weather is go to Smorgesburg. Smorgesburg came from Germany initially, but it's basically like a one big giant food festival. It happens once a week out here in LA, every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's in the Arts District. It's an awesome place to meet people. It's super fun, super lively. Sometimes they even have live music. They also sell trinkets like clothes, candles, whatnot. But one of my favorite things to do here is supporting local restaurant businesses. Today's theme is doing Barbecue Day. It's National Barbecue Day today. We're gonna go for the Around the World edition. As you guys know, I typically lean towards a more Asian palate, so all the barbecues we'll try today will have a type of Asian fusion to them. Let's get started. So when we think about barbecue, it kind of depends on where you are from regionally, what you think about. For me, as a Filipino, I typically think about skewers. A bunch of barbecue sticks roasted over a charcoal fire and just being really smoky, sweet, and kind of having like a tangier flavor than maybe the American person imagines barbecue to be. American barbecue is usually a lot bigger. I remember the first time I saw Texas barbecue and I was like, oh my God, those cuts are humongous. They usually kind of come with a sauce or their own marinated dish as well, but these pieces aren't typically like bite-sized skewers like the way most of Asia is. Something I'm gonna try today is Smoke Queen barbecue. As you can see, the caption says where East meets West. I was attracted to it because it's a fusion of Texas-style barbecue and Chinese. I ordered the pork siu yak. So it is a roasted pork belly barbecue, pretty similar to lechon kawali, which is what we had in the Philippines. That's kind of like our roasted pork belly version of barbecue as well. Pretty excited to try this out. Let's go. All right, so for the second type of meat I'm going to try the Golden Skewers lemongrass barbecue duo. So this cuisine is actually Cambodian. I'm actually quite unfamiliar. My best friend's Cambodian, but I've actually never had Cambodian food. Cambodian food is quite similar to Thai. Uses pretty much the same type of ingredients. Lots of ginger, lots of lemongrass, lots of garlic as usual. So lemongrass is kind of a typical flavor. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. I've never had Cambodian barbecue before. So this barbecue day actually is a huge day of firsts for me. Today we are also gonna try Far East Cowboys. So this is Mongolian barbecue. Never had Mongolian food, period, as well as never having Cambodian food. So this is really special. I always try to go outside of my comfort zone. I've saw a bunch of Filipino skewer places and Japanese places around, but honestly, I've had a bunch of those. So I always have this motto where I say, look, I'll try anything twice. So I'm really excited to try this one. Mongolian barbecue is typically known for its like dry rub seasoning. I got the oyster mushrooms and the beef skewer. So let's check it out. Okay, hi, it's Kazumi. All the food is here. I'm super duper excited. As you can see, I don't even know where to begin. So I'm gonna explain it a little bit further. This Texan fusion barbecue, it kind of reminds me similarly to Philippines lechon kawali, which as I said is roasted pork belly. It's usually deep fried, or nowadays, if you want a more healthier option, an air fryer. This seems to be like slow roasted. Oh my gosh, I love that sound when it has like the crunchy skin like that, and you can see like the meat itself is like super juicy and tender. So this is called pork belly siu yak, which is similar to char siu, but char siu is more so braised pork belly versus this being fried. They advertise themselves as a half Chinese barbecue, so let's see like what that actually means. Because right now this looks pretty standardly just Chinese. I want to see what this sauce is. Okay, this feels like an American sauce. Kind of have a spicy tang to it, a little sweet, a little sour. Now, let's like try it out. I always like to try my meats by itself without the sauce first, and then afterwards I'll dress it up. So, oh my God. Wow, that's so good. Okay, yeah, it's really similar to lechon kawali. The skin is super crunchy, it's cooked perfectly. Fun fact, the way you could kind of finagle this is when you get your pork belly, you could poke holes in the skin and then rub salt all over it and then like leave it out in the fridge, kind of like dry up overnight, and then that way you can ensure extra crispy skin. Let me try it with the sauce. This sauce kind of tastes like pretty traditionally American. Oh my God, so good. I'm sold. Not that there's any selling to be had, but it is a traditionally like Chinese cut, but the sauce is what kind of gives it that Texan flavor. It's robust, it's kind of smoky, but it still has like a sweet and tangy flavor that kind of reminds me a little bit of like hoisin, which is typically what Chinese people would use as barbecue sauce. So moving on, this is Mongolian barbecue. This is skewers. So skewers is more prominent in places like Mongolia, the Philippines, Japan. Skewers are usually typically cooked over charcoal. These are oyster mushrooms and this is beef. So I'm really excited to try it. I got chimichurri, honey mustard, and garlic. Ooh, it's a lot of garlic. Typically with Mongolian food, it is like a dry spice rub. Philippines usually is like a sauce marinade. And yakitori is mostly also dry seasoning as well. Or actually, I don't think it's seasoned at all and you're able to season it yourself afterwards, which is similar to how they do Jade barbecue. It's the meat as is because they take pride in having like very delicious meats by itself, no sauce or any dressings needed. You are able to dress it up afterwards after you have your first bite. So on aperitif, this is an oyster mushroom. Yum. It has like a good spice to it. I'm gonna try this dry rub. Just putting my fork into this, it feels like this beef is already really juicy, really tender. Definitely not well done at all. I typically like my steak medium rare. And I think if you're like into like well done, you should be publicly executed. I said beef earlier. This is actually lamb, my mistake. But luckily I love lamb. Lamb has this like really hearty flavor. It's not similar to beef. I would say it's a little bit sweeter. And I feel like the meat itself is a lot softer, a lot more tender. I find that beef sometimes, especially in barbecue, can obviously be a little bit well done. But when done right, I find like lamb to be like kind of like a goated meat to have. Moving on to the third one. This is lemongrass barbecue. This is beef, this is chicken. Kind of the trifecta of Laos, Cambodia, and also the Philippines. Lemongrass is a pretty prominent flavor that we use in pretty much all of our proteins or sauces. Lemongrass is kind of like a fresh, vibrant herb. It typically like adds like a layer of lightness to the dish. So I'm excited to try it. And as always, like whenever I try a meat, or like soup or anything, I always try it without like adding any of like the fixings, like the sauce first, because I want to see what it's like by itself. That's good. If you're like an American person eating barbecue, this is probably the most similar dish to what you're already used to. The meat is super tender and the skin is perfectly charbroiled. It has this crisp to it, it's caramelized. It has a layer of sweetness to it, which I think caramelized over the skin, which is what adds to a little bit of texture. So I'm gonna try this over their sauce. That's really good. Oh my God, I love it here. I love barbecue short ribs, sweet marinade. You can really taste the lemongrass, and you can also smell the aromatics as well, kind of wafting from it. And it really adds to kind of like fooling me into at least thinking this is healthy. Because I feel like whenever I see greenery, I'm always like, oh my God, I'm being healthy. I'm gonna get to it, and I'll give you guys a final review once I'm all done. All right, guys, so I'm a little winded because I just destroyed pretty good amount of food, maybe 80%. I'm just a girl, so it's a little hard for me to put down like 20 ounces of meat in one go, but if I had to rank things, I think the lemongrass, beef, and chicken, OMG. This fish sauce concoction is so freaking good. It's typically a sauce you can find in most Southeast Asian cultures. It's also in Laos, it's also in Vietnam. It typically is like fish sauce, sugar, cilantro, onion, pepper, tomato, garlic, heaven on earth. I love it. It gave like that extra kick and flavor to this meat that already was so good, especially texturally. It was crunchy at first glance and then like juicy in the middle. Light freshness of like the kind of like the sour tanginess of the sauce kind of offsets the rich meatiness of the meat itself. Then I really like the pork belly suyak. I love pork belly. Especially I love good crunchy skin. There's a joke that in the Philippines, if we could make food out of like the pig's ghost, we would, because we would love using every single part of the pig. It's one of our favorite meats. The Mongolian skewers are gonna go last for me. Not that it was bad, but I'm just really familiar already with that type of barbecue. I felt like it could have had a bit of a bigger punch. I just wish there was like more of a fusion. It just felt very simple to me. I've had a lot of skewers before. But yeah, this was barbecue day at Smorgesburg. I had a lot of fun. I'm completely stuffed. I'm gonna roll all the way home. If you guys wanna see more of me, you guys know where to go.